We're back on Fresh Waves. Hour number 2. We are joined in the studio by Tessa McDougal of the Latcham Gallery. Good morning, Tessa.
Hello. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, well, we're thrilled to have you. We're talking about craft. And we said that we would, right off the top of the hour, talk about the difference between art, craft, crafters, things like that, artisan. Because when people hear craft, they often think pie plate pumpkins and toilet roll wise men. I'm hooked on the toilet roll wise men thing because I made toilet roll wise men one year at Girl Guides, and my mom still puts them out.
Or macaroni angels.
The macaroni angels are good, but they do fall apart, and then the dog eats them.
Right.
Yeah. The toilet paper wise men just seem there's nothing you can do to destroy them, and they're styrofoam heads.
Yeah. Or pipe cleaners. Yes. Although Blair Witch Project kind of destroyed the pipe cleaner kind of craft, I think, right? Because everybody got freaked out by them.
Yeah. I don't know. When people start thinking that, they don't want to go to the craft sale because they don't want knitted tea cozies with poodle heads on them and things like that. Not that that's a bad thing. If you're still knitting tea cozies with poodle heads, go ahead. But there's a lot more to it is what I'm thinking, what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I think, the difference is there's craft and there's fine craft and there's art and, I don't know how to distinguish between the two. Like I'm not really into kind of like the toilet paper cover holders, but it's all personal taste, and it's not that any is better than the other. It's all
just
still
different.
It's all still a creative expression, right?
Yeah.
And so it's
but
just
some
kind of
should be
different.
kept in your house and some should be sold.
Yes, yeah, and some should maybe go in the garbage, but.
Well, and I think when we're talking about those toilet paper wise men as well, that sort of crafting is sort of accessible, right? So everyone can participate. Everybody can do those activities at home. It doesn't matter what your experience level is. Whereas when we're talking about fine craft or craft with a capital C, there's a different selection of materials often used, right? We're talking about pottery, embroidery, metal and woodworking versus toilet paper and macaroni and styrofoam, right? And then there's also a skill level involved, right? We have these artisans like Jenny who have put in thousands of hours of work to develop their craft.
Absolutely.
I always say to my son too, because he's interested in going into woodworking, and I said you have to have a skill that somebody can't can't look at your things and say, I'm just going to go home and make that myself, right? So you have to have kind of like a unique skill that you've built over years so that it's, it's not something that somebody can, just do themselves, right? So
with a set of instructions and a little Allen key.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Although that is fun sometimes. Actually, I like watching my husband put together one of those things that comes with a set of instructions and an Allen key. I like to watch the explosion build. And I like to watch what turns out was like, really, honey, that doesn't look anything like the picture. See the picture here? The picture says 1,000 words. Anyway, that's a whole other show. So this weekend we have a really great weekend in Stouffville. It is the studio tour.
Yeah. So it's a studio tour. I can't even remember what number it is. I think it's 18 maybe.
Yes, it is 18.
And so there's a variety of studios in Stouffville and Ballantrae area, north of town, and hopefully it'll be a great weekend. It's fun to kind of like pick and choose the places that you want to go. There are brochures available all around town, including at the Latcham Art Center, that you can pick up, or you can just go online and check out the website and find out where you want to go. And then, even if you go to the first artist, there will be brochures there, so you can kind of follow the tour map from there. But yeah, we get a lot of people up from the city. A lot of people just kind of like Google what to do this weekend, and we have great social media people that have done a great job, and so it pops up. Lots of times they say that it just pops up, and they didn't even know that Stouffville was here. So it brings a lot of people from out of town, and it's fun. It's fun to go around and see the different studios, the artists working in their studios, and what they make.
Yeah, it sounds like a really fun thing to do, and there's a lot of variety, isn't there? Because in that particular show. There's art, as in paintings that hang on the wall, sketches that hang on the wall, and then craft, like things you use, wear, and all the rest of it.
Yeah, great variety. Jewelry, I know at my own studio, so I have my pottery there, and then I also have a guest artist, Daniela Boerhoff, who does, and she's outside in my backyard, and she does amazing metalwork. So small pieces all the way up to like huge, massive garden pieces that she does commissions for. So, and just around the corner from me is Monica Gennaro, who does amazing jewelry. Down the street is Ed Keith, who does raku pottery, and I think usually he tries to do like a raku firing during the studio tour weekend in his backyard.
Neat.
So that's always really cool to see. And then so many amazing, talented painters and artists, and there's lots of stuff to see.
Okay, the jeweler that you just mentioned, she's the one that does the hand-pounded silver and things like that?
Yeah.
She's on McCowan, isn't she?
Yeah, McCowan and Aurora. Yeah.
I'm wearing her bracelet this morning.
Nice.
Budgeting Halliburton happened to match what I was wearing the day I bought it.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that what happens? You know?
Exactly.
Oh, that'd be perfect. That one right there.
Yeah, I want that.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Well, that sounds fantastic. It sounds like a great thing, and you don't have to spend the whole weekend doing it. You can just go for a few hours.
You can choose and just go for a few hours. And the nice thing, because I've been on studio tours before, where it's a long drive between studios.
So try Halliburton.
I know, like I was thinking of the Halliburton one, which is from one end to the other. Even Muskoka from one end to the other is quite expansive. But so it's nice and close, Ballantrae is only 10 minutes away. I know a lot of people think it's further away, but it's not. And it's a short drive.
And it's a perfect weekend to get out into the country anyway. It's going to be a little colder than it has been recently, like single-digit temperatures. So you might as well be out enjoying the sunshine.
Yes.
If not the warm weather.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy the sun and just... It's at people's homes.
Yeah, exactly. And, I find now, too, and especially with Beyond Craft... what a great feeling to kind of keep your dollars in Canada. I don't know if that's controversial, but...
And Canadian made,
keeping, supporting local artisans and artists and local small business. And, it's a great way to kind of support the community that you live in and get something, beautiful and handmade at the same time.
It's wonderful. I love it. And I love the fact that it's Canadian made. I put a big emphasis on that on a lot of things that I do. Remember, I was in the Bahamas once on a vacation, and we were told to leave our luggage in one spot, and they were bringing in these little carts to take them to the airport because there were no cars on this particular island. And I didn't even notice until I got home that someone had stolen all my jewelry. But it had no monetary value. I know it's going to be in a garbage somewhere.
Right.
Everything was handmade leather earrings that I bought one year at the One of a Kind, and hand-painted leather earrings another year at the One of a Kind, and little craft shows and things that I pick up here, there, and everywhere. My current favorite pair of earrings is a little silver earring that's made out of old silver cutlery, and it's pounded and molded, and it's just beautiful. And it's $80 worth of earring. If someone steals it, oh well, big deal. Oh well, big deal. It's a bigger deal than if they stole a manufactured piece, because even though the manufactured piece would probably cost 10 times as much, I can replace that one, and I can't replace this one.
Yeah, that's
it
right.
makes me so sad.
Yeah, I know.
It was one of those things where people say it's just stuff, and it's just stuff, but it was really neat stuff. That only means something to me.
Yeah, and that you've taken a long time to collect.
Anyway, all right, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about art as a gift, because obviously at the November sale, which is what weekend, just so we can get it out there?
So it's November 8th to 11th.
Okay, and Beyond Craft.
Beyond Craft.
Can you buy art as a gift for someone?
I think so. I think definitely if you have an attraction to it, I think most likely that the person that you buy it for is going to have an attraction to it also. There's that personal connection. I don't know. What do you think, Tessa?
I think that it depends on what you're buying, right? So if you're looking at buying an $800 painting for somebody, you have to consider the decor as well, right? And if people want that item added to their collection. But when you're thinking about buying, beautiful ceramic pottery, functional pottery, right? Or even we have artisanal soaps and, beautiful chocolates and things like that, right? That really have an art element to them. They're chocolates that are hand painted with designs. That's
neat.
That's
I wouldn't want to eat
else,
it,
right?
I'd feel guilty eating
they're
it.
so beautiful. I think that is a little bit different. I think sometimes too it's daunting to buy a big gift for somebody, but also with a mug, if somebody, it's not quite their style, they put it away, they pull it out when they want to use it, right?
When you come over.
Yeah, right? And I think those things change too with styles, with how trends come in and out, right? So something that you might not love, one year you might love the next year because you're being influenced by, styles, right? Or, the 70s are coming back or the 90s are coming back, right? So you appreciate that thing more. But I think it's a little bit harder when you're talking about a wall work, it's a little bit more major. It often has more, like it's bigger in size, right? And it has a big presence.
Yeah, I remember one year we have an artist, Kathy Mark, who does amazing in Beyond Craft, who does amazing like metal trees on stones and stuff. And one of the studio tour artists, Colin Whitebread, who's just an awesome guy.
He is. He was on the morning show last week.
I saw that. He and his wife decided to buy I think they have 7 or 8 children. I can't remember exactly, but they bought one of her trees for each of their children. Like they always make a conscious effort to buy like an artwork, like a piece of artwork for each of their children. And I just thought that was so amazing, instead of buying because they're adult children, instead of buying your adult children some kind of kettle or something that you just go out and buy yourself, like what a personal connection, that they know that their parents picked those out together, they're handmade, they're local, and each of their siblings has one. And I just thought that was a great. And then I think it was like the year after, his daughter bought one of my wall pieces for him for Christmas, which was so cool. And she said, yeah, my dad's like a painter. His name's Colin. I'm like, what? You're buying this for Colin? He's so, so I think you can do it. I guess it depends if you know your audience.
Yeah. And I think sometimes buying art and, these really intricately handmade products can be the best gifts, right? It just might take a little bit more consideration than if you're buying something from a box store.
Well, I heard a definition of the best present, and I thought it was really appropriate. They say the best gift is something that you've always wanted but would never buy yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
right. So many people walk around these shows and they say, oh, that's so nice, but, I've got to do this. I don't have the budget for it this year. And keep your ears open for that kind of thing and think to yourself, maybe that's what I can get them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a nice thing to do, I think, for people to get them something that's really personal for them. And then on the other side of that coin, if they don't like it and they donate it to the thrift store, I'm there in a heartbeat.
Yeah, exactly.
You should see what I got this summer. Yeah. I got a necklace from a woman, Chris, who makes the most amazing jewelry, and she was at the Halliburton show. I don't know if you saw her, but she collects beads from all over the world. She's an extensive traveler. She has gorgeous, pure silver beads. They're quite big, so it's a style that would appeal to not everyone, if you know what I mean. And they're gorgeous silver pieces. And her necklaces range from $200 to probably $400 or $500, maybe $1,000. And some of them are quite intricate. And at the bottom of the cabinet at the Karen Share in Halliburton, I saw this big bead and I said, can I see that bead? I thought it was only the bead, but they had other stuff on top of it. And when I pulled it out, it was one of her necklaces. And he said, oh, $10 seems a bit much for something like this. How about $8? And I said, $8! Sold! And I'm so happy to have it because I can't afford her jewelry.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love it.
Okay,
I love where it comes from. I'm going to have to go to the Karen Share more often. There's so many things that you find there. It's treasure hunting, and you don't find it every day, but when you do, boy, is it ever a treasure. So if someone gets something that they don't like, I'm always happy to pick it up. My favorite painting at the cottage, I ask my kids now not to introduce it as dump art. The fact that I got it at the dump, there's so many artists in Halliburton. If it's not their painting, if they don't like it, if there's something wrong with it, that, when an artist sees something in a painting that they don't like, it's just done. They don't want anything to do with it anymore. I don't even know what went wrong with it. I love every bit of it. And it's at the dump for free.
Right.
Take it home, take a little brush, knock off the dust.
Yeah.
It's the best piece of art I own.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. And that's all that matters is if you like it.
That is a treasure hunt then.
Yeah.
That is, it's a found treasure.
Yeah.
But I find every year that I don't want to diss the one of a kind because I know that it's insanely expensive for the artists to be there. I know it's insanely expensive for me to spend a day with gas and parking and food and entrance fees. It's a big investment into a day of what I, for the most part, find looking. I love Beyond Craft, and I really actually talk it up to everyone I meet. Parking is free. Except on Main Street if you park for more than 3 hours, but don't do that. And parking's free. I don't know. I've never needed to eat. And entrance is whatever you feel like paying that goes directly to the gallery.
Yep.
What a better deal. There isn't a better deal
it's
anywhere.
awesome. And we get so many people saying, wow, like I can't believe I didn't know this show existed. It's like a little mini one of a kind. You know, you don't have to spend like 9 hours walking around looking at everything. You can kind of like pop in for a couple hours. Yeah, it's a great show. And this year it sounds like we have like an amazing selection.
We do. Yeah.
Okay, so give us a little overview. No spoiler alert.
No spoiler alert. Okay. So actually, as Jenny previously mentioned, we have Kathy Marks. She does great metal work, and she was with us about 4 years ago. Hasn't been able to do the show since. I think she makes great little ornaments as well, metal ornaments.
Is she the one that makes the angels?
No, no, I know. I don't know if she does that. Maybe she's from Uxbridge. Anyway, that lady was on the Uxbridge show for a while, but I don't know if she's making those anymore. Okay.
Yeah, and then we've got a really great company called Bridalwood Soaps. They're doing these really beautiful handmade cold pressed soaps. They've expanded to doing bath soaps and like the soaks, right? And skin products. They smell so good. It's all like locally sourced, right? And then we've got, Jenny, of course, with about 7 other potters. We have a number of fabulous jewelry artists coming in as well. We've got some great woodwork, some new textile work as well. So you can look forward to seeing about 30 different artisans. Everything is handmade.
And it's at 19 on the Park, which is also a beautiful venue. It's such
beautiful.
A nice place to go. It brings everyone into the downtown. And
it's the perfect ambiance, right?
Yeah.
That building, I think, really lends itself well to what we're doing, but also that sort of holiday spirit. Last year it actually snowed on the opening evening. It was the first time it had snowed that year. And we got this little mini, blizzard almost. Turnout was still great, but it was so picturesque, right? We had all this snow, and then you walk in, there's Christmas music. We had baked goods. All the artisans are there. And it just, really set the mood and set that feeling. It was great.
Are the artists going to be there?
They're there typically on the Thursday night. But one of the things that's different about our sale is that the artists don't have to man their own booths, and we have one central cash. So for a customer, I think it's a much better experience because you don't have to wait in line at 5 or 6 different booths to pay individually. You get everything that you've liked from all different booths, and then you line up at a central cash, and we do debit, Visa, MasterCard, and you can check out there. If you go to a lot of smaller craft shows, not all the artisans even have a system set up so you can pay with your card. You have to, deal in cash, right? So it's a great option.
And I think the benefit to that, too, is that we get really good quality artists because they don't have to be there in what is such a busy season for them. They can be doing another show at the same time, or they can be working if they need to work, if they're going to one of a kind.
And people would see, like this great little birdhouse and say, I want to buy it now. And it hadn't even made it to his booth. Right? So, for him, it's a really great setup.
In the parking lot this
year. There you go, right?
Yeah,
Just take over the whole parking
lot party.
I think he would have enough product to fill the parking lot. He's been working since, I think, April.
The tailgate Beyond Craft, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking that's
next year.
Yeah. Note to self. Work on the tailgate party.
Yeah,
that would be fun. All right, we have to take a little break. You're listening to Fresh Waves on Whistle FM. I'm your host, Bren Masson. We've got Jennifer and Tessa in the studio this morning. We're talking art and craft. Stay tuned.